You're listening to the Quit Your Job in 6 Months podcast with Buck motherfucking Flogging. Listen carefully as Buck lays down a mesmerizing array of knowledge that can help you quit your job in 6 months or less and pursue your dream as a proud owner of a successful internet enterprise. Got a question for Buck? Go to quit6.com/ask-buck. That's quit, the letter N, the number 6.com/ask-buck. Now get ready to enjoy the show.
Invincible.
Welcome everyone. It's Buck Flogging in the house at your cervix. And we'll see what we get in today. Into your cervix. I've got some questions coming that people submitted. Again, you can go back to submit those questions at quittin6.com/ask-buck, and I will get in there and do my best to answer your questions. I can't answer everything. I'm not the almighty omniscient person that I pretend to be, but I can certainly come up with a better answer than on most topics than a lot of the people who are out there blogging their little fingers away and doing things inefficiently. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into today's show, answer some questions, and have a good time.
Yeah, Buck, so what do you think is the strongest affiliate niche for newbies to get involved in that's got the fastest paths to positive cash flow?
Well, sir, thank you for the question. I think maybe next time you might try to maybe have a snack first, so you don't try to eat your microphone when you leave your message. Jesus effing Christ. Okay. Gosh, that's a big question. You know, what is the biggest niche? I think, you know, without being able to ask you and get clarity on it, obviously I think you mean, you know, if you're to pick a certain niche, what is going to be the path of least resistance? Well, first of all, I would discourage people from thinking like that. So don't get too carried away with this idea of trying to find out this profitable niche. Now, it can work for some people, and, you know, I like having ideas and being able to put those into the world because they're good ideas, not necessarily because it's something that you're super fired up and passionate about. Obviously, I start websites like that all the time now, but the reason I'm able to do that is because I have a team that can go out and do the things and execute great ideas in realms that I don't give a rat's ass about. Okay, if I was doing it all by myself, I would have to give a rat's ass about it. And so I think starting out, it's really important, and I hammer this home again and again and again and again. I think the opportunities are there in many, many different niches. It's a matter of picking one that you're going to have the most enthusiasm for, the most inspiration for, and thus the greatest endurance for, and just drive. I mean, it's when you're doing something that it's in an area of interest for you, it becomes so effortless that it becomes difficult to fail. It really does. You know, you don't have to like force yourself to go work on it. You have to force yourself not to work on it too much. You have to force yourself to stay away from it. That's how it should feel. And if it feels like that, then you got nothing to worry about because you'll do the work required. Now, let me answer this question, though. It's a serious question. It's a big question. The most profitable niche in any industry, anywhere, when it comes to information or a digital product in particular. Now, this isn't necessarily so for, you know, actual physical goods and stuff like that, but certainly anything digital and certainly anything that you'd be promoting as an affiliate. You know, I think the biggest niche of all, of course, is helping people make more money. There's more money in helping people make more money than there is anything else. And not to sound like a douche, but Quittin' Six was something that I wanted to get involved with. Part of the reason, again, this is a personal project. This is something I'm pouring hundreds and probably eventually thousands of my own hours into, my own personal time. So it's something I'm very interested and intrigued by, or else I wouldn't be doing it. It's not a purely opportunistic move. But I certainly wanted to be in the space because, man, it just makes things so much easier when the information that you're providing is helping people make more money. If you're going to help somebody make $2,000, well, you can charge $1,000 for it, and they look at it like, oh, I'd make $1,000 profit. Great. They look at it like an investment. And there's no greater gift that you can give or bestow upon someone than giving them the power and the knowledge to go out and make more money. I mean, that's really, obviously, there's other valuable things that you can offer someone, but in terms of trading dollars for that information, it is crystal clear the monetary value. If you're going to help somebody make tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars, well, you can charge a lot for it, and people will certainly, they'll just part ways with money a lot easier when it comes to something that they think they're going to make that money back. Other profitable niches, obviously I've been in health and fitness for a long time. I think it's a pretty profitable niche, no doubt about that. Other ones, let's see. Obviously I like to create a website. In my most successful websites to date, they pertain to buying. Okay, so it's really hard when you're putting out information about something to then all of a sudden you come out of left field and you try to sell them something. That's difficult when you're not usually talking about goods and services and products that are for sale. So if you're reviewing something, let's say, and you're known for reviewing model airplanes, hey, you're always talking about products and goods and services that are for sale. That makes it so much easier. People are there to get information about something they want to buy. Selling them stuff is really, really easy. So think about that as you go to formulate a business plan. Think about ways that you can shift gears just a little bit to position yourself in a way that enables you to be talking about things that are for sale and to have buying and discounts perhaps and other things, or new products and revealing new information about new things coming out, technology, etc. Technology obviously is a huge niche. That's the kind of thing that is going to make your life a lot easier. Now, of course, there's plenty of people just putting out pure information, and they have advertising, and maybe they promote some summits and book bundles and other events and things throughout the year that pertain to whatever their specialty is. Hey, that makes it a lot easier. I'm in books. I'm making plenty of money in books, and I wouldn't consider books to be this hugely profitable niche. In fact, as soon as I made the jump to promoting e-courses, I started making a lot more money per subscriber because the perceived value of a course, a class, is much higher than a book, especially an ebook, the value of which has been watered down tremendously over the years. So again, I think this matters. It really comes down to the individual. But like I just said, I just revealed how you could make a good living reviewing model airplanes. It's something for sale. It's expensive. That's how you identify a niche that can be lucrative, and you can sell stuff all day long as an affiliate. Even if you don't have a niche and you're fairly nebulous, you can still become an affiliate for Amazon. You can still become an affiliate for Udemy, which I really love. Udemy's got a great affiliate program. And you can you can become a ClickBank affiliate, and you can start to pair up whatever information that you're writing about and attach it to some kind of product for sale. Physical product, digital product, whatever it might be. So that's my long-winded answer to that question, and I hope that was helpful.
Hey Bob, my question is, what do I do if I do not have, as they say, any marketable skills? For example, the only thing I can do pretty good is writing, but I had no luck finding any good paying gigs for that. So, what do you think about that?
Well, it sounded like you said your only marketable skill is writing. I mean, that is a very, very marketable skill. It's one of the most marketable skills ever because the written word is just so much more valuable than it's ever been because it's you're building content on the internet. And content on the internet is like where all the action's at. So obviously you have the ability to be a ghostwriter. And here's just, I want people who are interested in freelancing of some kind and trying to get gigs. I want you to think about things like this, okay? It's a game changer. It'll make your life a lot easier. Find a website, an entity, a guru of some kind, just something that you like, you're interested in, you want to be a part of, and go to your top 10 favorite websites that you think, or YouTube channel people, vloggers, go to those people, your top 10, and pitch the idea of you doing some writing for them. And the goal is not to trade dollars for hours, okay? So just forget about that, okay? Because it's going to be really difficult for you to approach someone and give them some kind of quote. Oh, I'll write these articles for you for $200, and then you could see how they do. No, nobody wants to play around and fiddle around with that. I mean, 9 out of 10 things that I've spent money on that's internet related, I've lost money on. So as an internet owner, an internet business owner, you just don't want to play around with that. It's like, who is this person? But if you go to people and offer to write some content for free, now, of course, if you're a shitty writer, this probably is not going to work out very well. But if you're a good writer, you care, you're passionate, you're interesting in helping this thing that you like and you believe in, and you want to help it excel, and you want to be part of it, you want to be part of the movement, man. If you go and reach out and offer to write some content for free, you write some great content, nothing, no strings attached, okay? And give them a good sample. Write for a while and trial basis, ask them to monitor the results that they get, offer to do whatever it takes. See if you can go, if you work for free for 6 months, who cares? All that matters, the goal here, the target is to find a way to quit your job in 6 months, to be able to make $3,000 a month or more, $100 a day or more in 6 months or less. So if it takes you 5 months and 29 days before you make your first penny, but at 6 months you start making $100 a day or more, then you just achieved it. And think about all the people who go to college for 4 years, 8 years. They invest all that time and effort and energy, and not only are they working really hard and not being compensated, they're actually paying hundreds of thousands of dollars on top of that. So change your mindset, be willing to reach out, do some free work, be part of somebody's movement, get the fire under your ass, and go out there and write some great stuff and impress somebody. Okay, and if you don't impress them, hey, you know what that means? It means that you probably need more practice. Great. Practice, practice, practice. Keep writing, keep writing, keep writing, keep writing, or whatever your marketable skill is, and just keep working on it. Okay, secondly, if you want to think even bigger, if your marketable skill that you have is only writing and you don't have any other very marketable skills, well, you can still create a business and hire people with skills to fulfill whatever task it is, whatever service you want to offer. So let's say you want to offer editing services, translation services. You don't even know how to translate to start a translation business. Are you kidding me? You just start the business and hire some translators. You pay them 75% of whatever you get in. And you expand until all of a sudden you've got $10,000 a month worth of business, and boom, you got you 2,500 of that goes into your pocket. 7,500 goes out to a few freelancers that you brought on, and all of a sudden you find yourself in the midst of a very promising business that looks like it's got a chance to be successful. If you don't, you can also learn stuff. I mean, the internet is got everything that you could ever want or learn, especially valuable technical skills like video editing or creating little animated videos or creating intros for videos or creating slides or doing digital anything, graphic design, whatever it may be. There's so many different, I could go on and on and on, obviously designing websites and writing code and, editing podcasts, editing audiobooks. I mean, there's a million things. There's skills that you can learn and pick up very quickly that could immediately be turned around and be useful. If you learn them, you can also train other people how to do them, and again, you can start your business. But it's going to be, I just don't want anybody going out there and brawling in the freelancer circus out there, because it's a race to the bottom. Everybody is, you can get all kinds of stuff done for $5, and it's just, you're going to be, it's no better than having a job, really. And you're going to waste half the time or more just trying to get clients and sending out samples and trying to impress them, and then they go cold on you because they went with somebody else because there's 30 of you on Odesk or guru.com or whatever, all competing for the same client. You don't want to do that. There's no competition when you contact somebody direct and you say, hey, I really like what you do, and be just completely genuine about it. I want to help you out. I'll do it for free until, obviously, I've found a way to help you make more money. Once I find that, maybe we could talk about how we could split that extra money up from all the effort that I'm putting in. I don't know. It sounds silly and it sounds nebulous, but it's more effective than going out there and trying to compete with the savages out there in freelancer world. So if you don't have marketable skills, you got 3 options really. Well, 2 options. One, create a business and hire people that can do whatever it is that needs to be done as a service, or you can go out and learn those things. Simple as that. And if your skill is writing, you're blessed. It's the most valuable skill, and the fact that I am a pretty decent writer is 80% of my success. It's crazy. Being able to write is opening up so many doors for me, and I haven't even really, I'm just tip of the iceberg of what I could have done with that writing skill and the ability to hammer out thousands of words per day and be very prolific like that. So anyway, I hope that helps answer your question and gets your gears in your mind turning about how you could either learn some skills, take the skills you have and turn those into some income, or just completely create an entity and hire out all the expertise that you don't have. Simple as that.
Hi, my name is Rose, and I'm from Central America. So I have a question about sign spinner sites. I don't know if it's possible for me, because of where I live, to use this kind of sites and sell them to Amazon. Thanks.
Okay, sign spinner site. Thank you for the question, Rose. And I've been through Central America. I don't know which country you live in, but it's a pretty nice place to be. And yes, obviously there's some disadvantages, but there's some advantages as well. One is that the cost of living is quite a bit lower, so your golden point doesn't necessarily need to be $100 per day. And I think that opens up some unique opportunities. It makes obviously you're up against some challenges trying to figure out the logistics of how you can become an Amazon associate living in, Guatemala, for example, when there is no Amazon Guatemala. I would imagine that if you were to get on the internet in some place like Guatemala or Honduras or El Salvador or Nicaragua, or Costa Rica or what have you, you're going to be directed probably to Amazon.mx, which is the Mexico site. I don't know how big Amazon is in Mexico, and I suck at answering technical questions about random logistics like that. But I would imagine that's a topic that you can research a little bit and probably get to the bottom of. Now, let's just talk about, in general, being an Amazon affiliate, and also let me clarify for the listeners what a sign spinner site is. I referred to in book 1 of the Quit Your Job in 6 Months series, I identified a type of site called a sign spinner site, which is basically a site where you don't sell anything, but you are promoting other things that are for sale elsewhere. Daily deals site might be another way to describe it, although I think that that's too narrow of a definition. But basically what you're doing is trying to find a way to send people into a store where they can make the purchase, and you get a commission for sending them in. That's how the sites works. I have several sites like that. I love them. Again, we talked about it a little bit earlier. I just love sites that revolve around stuff that's for sale. People are shopping. People are wanting questions. People are there to buy. People are there for a discount. People are there for things related to buying something. That's a great thing. So, you have to figure that out. But that's what I do like. There are some advantages with that. I think you're thinking in the right realm. But if you're limited to Amazon.mx, I don't know, maybe that could be a little bit challenging. But you may find a loophole and a way to promote stuff at Amazon.com. And we Americans buy just relentless amounts of shit that we don't need. And I'm not talking about myself per se, because I actually don't buy stuff very much. Because I just think that's a waste. I'm not a big consumer fiend. But yeah, obviously my fellow compatriots are, and that's a beautiful thing and something that I've taken advantage of. So Amazon, working as an Amazon associate, basically you get 4% on anything that someone you send to Amazon buys within 24 hours on your unique affiliate link. Now, once you've sold a certain amount, I believe it's 35 items, you get bumped up to 4.5%. And then you sell a few more and you get bumped up to 5%. It goes all the way up to 8.5% once you've moved, I think it's like 3,500 maybe. So once you've sold 3,500 units of something, then you get bumped up to that 8.5%, and it's retroactive. So everything, if it hits the 30th of the month, is when you finally reach that threshold, then that 8.5% will apply to everything that you got for the whole month, which is nice. The secret, and one of the things that I've taken advantage of, is the fact that it doesn't matter if that item is 99 cents or if that item is $1,000. So, and it's per unit sold. So one of the reasons I promote books and make it a point to work books into my Amazon, my portfolio of sites, I get books in there, and that helps me always get, I get to that 8.5% commission rate in like less than a week every month. It's a piece of cake. But I couldn't if I was trying to sell laptops or something like that. There's no way I could sell 3,500 laptops in a month and get 8.5% commission. So you'll have to be a little bit innovative, Rose, and try to figure out, the workarounds to get yourself positioned. But don't think too narrow. Amazon is great. It's great to promote Amazon products and stuff that's on Amazon, but there's a whole other world of other things that you can promote, and it's probably going to have a better commission to it. Now, the nice thing about Amazon is you get 8.5%, up to 8.5% at least, on everything that they buy in 24 hours. So you could send them over to buy a 99-cent book or something else that's very inexpensive, and boom, they buy kitty litter and feminine products and old DVDs and some golf clubs. You get 8.5% on the whole sale. And I find that sending somebody over to Amazon is always going to be worth, somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 cents unless you're selling, really promoting something that's a high dollar item and you have a great methodology for getting great sales and a high conversion rate with that. Anyway, such as doing product reviews for expensive things like camping gear or kitchen appliances or electronics and so forth. So that's kind of what a sign spinner site is. That's gives you an idea of what you might be able to do with something like that. Not just you, Rose, but anyone listening. And that's kind of how the internet works. Now, I can't, what you're asking is extremely general. It's hard for me to give very precise information about a sign spinner site in general. But I think it's important for everybody to understand how the internet works. And if you have people going to your site, you can get them on your your email list. You can get their email. You can pitch them deals. You can review products. You can do a lot of things. You can make it about things that are for sale, and you can make it appealing and for them to be on your list. It's got to be something in it for them to be subscribed. And then you can sell some stuff and make some commission. That's how the internet works. You don't have to make any products yourself, digital or physical. And you can still get out there and make a killing, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And for somebody who lives in Central America, you don't need to make a killing. Even just a few $100 extra a month would probably be a very substantial amount of income for most residents of the countries in Central America. So anyway, thank you so much for your question, and feel free to ask more. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Last question of the day coming up.
Hi, Buck. Agent Annabelle Swell here. I'm wondering if you can tell us what you think is prudent and necessary to spend on editing, formatting, and design of an ebook. Like, what should we plan for? What's about average? What do you think is sort of bare minimum? And what kind of return can we expect? Like, if you were to deliver just some bare bones, is it going to make a big difference in revenues in the end? Thank you so much.
Annabelle Swell. First of all, obviously you need to be in the phone sex industry. That was impressive. So, Mrs. Swell, God, I love that. By the way, you guys, you don't have to use your real name when you call in. It's not like Buck Flogging's my real name. That's a really great question, okay? Here's what usually happens with the book on Amazon. I'm just being completely flat out 100% realistic. Now, if you have a great launch platform, you already built up an audience, you can have a pretty good run with an Amazon book. Or if you hire an entity to promote the hell out of that for you, such as Epic Launch, which costs an arm and a leg but is a wonderful service, they can get out there and they can sell the pants off of that. I mean, they've had books that have made, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 like in the first few months, which is really good for a book. Because books, in the general market aren't always massive. So in terms of their actual dollars and cents of revenue that they generate. But this is what usually happens, right? Because most authors, over 90%, they don't have a very big following. They don't have a great launch strategy. They're not internet hustlers that know how to play the whole pimp game of getting 50 people that have a following to get together to promote your stuff for you. I mean, it's just, if you're just going in dry, you're probably going to sell a few $100s in the first month, $150 in the second month, and then it's probably going to fall down into the double digits where it will reside forever. And it may even fall off to even further obscurity and start having an entire, week or two at a time in between copies sold. Okay, so I know that sounds pretty grim, but all it takes is a little bit of promotion at the beginning. Let's say your first couple hundred copies, even if those copies are at 99 cents. Now you're looking at probably $300 to $3,000 range that for your first month, if you can give it a couple hundred downloads at launch. So it doesn't take huge promotional capacity to have a better run. But the fact of the matter is, even with a couple hundred downloads at launch, the typical Kindle book that's published on Amazon today is probably only going to make a few $1,000s. Okay? And it's a really tough decision. Now, if you feel like you have something that's a crowd pleaser, it's on a very popular topic, you have a great promotional powerhouse coming behind it, then you want to absolutely perfect that book, and you can justify dropping a couple thousand on it. If it's a fiction book or a novel, it could be even more than that. You might spend more than that just on the editing. You might drop $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 and more on promotion. Okay? But that's when you really know that you've got a hit. And of course, it's hard to say because most people think that everything that they write is, God's gift to the world. And obviously 98% of the time it's not. So delusions of grandeur will definitely kick you in the butt if you just run out there and I've got to spend thousands of dollars. The problem is you don't want, if your book really starts taking off and you get lucky, the worst thing that can happen is have a book that's not really very good and a cover that sucks and crap formatting and all that stuff. If you have all that on a book that just happens to catch fire, you're going to get burned. You're going to miss out on tens of thousands of dollars by not having spent the extra $1,500 or $1,000 that could have taken a book that was pretty sloppy and turned it into a pretty damn professional product. But that's just selling on Amazon. And I've been thinking about this a ton lately, and it'll be just a constant conversation of topic of conversation because it's a never-ending pendulum as it sways back and forth between, should I publish my book on Amazon? Should I sell it on my site? Should I sell it on my site and on Amazon? Should I only sell it on my site? Should I try to get into various book bundles and other events that are happening? How can I make the most money with my book? And or should I put it on ClickBank and all of a sudden I get a $39 book? God, there are so many options. I've done a little bit of everything. And Amazon has been really, really fun, and it's been great. But, I'm starting to have my doubts a little bit because if you had a book on your website and it was for sale for, let's say, $20, which you can't do that on Amazon. You could, but you would get murdered. It wouldn't be very successful. But you could sell a PDF on your site for, let's say, $27. And the likelihood that you would only make a few $100s on that lifetime or under $1,000 lifetime, that's hard to do. It's hard to make less than $1,000 on a book that's on your website. But a book that's on Amazon can fall pretty much flat on its ass. There's no doubt about that. And you could struggle to sell a book at $2.99 that you could have sold on your website for a lot more. And anyway, it's a tough call. At the end of the day, if you have good information, you have good strategy, you're a likable person, and you're somebody who has promise, then everything that you do, you really want to give it that professional varnish. Even if you lose money in the short term, you still want to give it that professional varnish. In terms of asking, figuring out what your cost should be, I would say in terms of the editing, proofreading, and formatting, you probably shouldn't spend more than, I would say, $20 per 1,000 words. A lot of editors, if they hear that, would freak out. But with most of the books that we do really light edits on them because there's a point of diminishing returns. A very heavily edited book can cost thousands, and just cleaning up the basic typos and helping it flow a little better, spending a few hundred instead of a few thousand on the manuscript to just kind of brush through it quickly and catch 90% of the problems instead of 100%, wow, that's the way to go. So I wouldn't spend more than about 20, probably around $20 per 1,000 words on the interior. We do book covers at Archangel Ink currently for $100 that are really very good. They're not the best, but the best are over $1,000. We charge $100. Again, you're going to get 80% of the quality of the best book cover in the world. You're going to get 80% of that for $100 instead of 100% of that for over $1,000. If you turn your book into an audiobook, it shouldn't cost you more than a couple $100 per finished hour. A finished hour is usually about 8,000 words. So if your book is, let's say, 24,000 words, that should be a 3-hour recording finished, and that should be $600. Any less than that, and it's probably going to be low quality, although every now and then there's an exception, and freelancer rates get lower and lower every day. So, hey, who knows? What else? That's about it. Honestly, if you had $2,000 to spend, I would probably spend $1,500 of it on marketing. Especially if you're going to launch it on Amazon, because the sales that you get in the first month are everything. It's everything. I mean, Amazon is such a pain in the ass because they're really giving preferential treatment to new releases, and then after that first 30 days, they're kind of like, forget about it. Which, again, that just gives people more and more reason to become serial publishers, to write a new book every month and keep pumping out the new releases and the new releases, to keep them short, to keep them competitively priced. That's what's working right now. That's why everybody's doing that. So Amazon's kind of its own system, but you're welcome to go and try to write your masterpiece too, and write this incredible kick-ass book that you spend $10,000 perfecting. I know people who've made hundreds of thousands of dollars on a premium book, which is, greatly trumps 99% of what I've seen people do, self-publishing books that are mediocre quality and just going for kind of the churn and burn style. Anyway, that's probably more information that you wanted, but thank you so much for your question. I'll be happy to answer more, and not to pimp out my own shit, but Archangel Ink is the spot. That's archangelink.com, where we do have a full menu of publishing services: proofreading, formatting, editing, book description writing, book cover design, audiobook, paperback formatting, etc., 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 etc. That's all there. And I actually don't make any money from that. It's my partner Rob Archangel's business, and he's my bro. He helped me out along the way, and I help him now. And if you've got things that need to be done in the book realm, please go there to get it and help my buddy Rob out. He's just an incredible dude, and moved down to Florida to be close, to be big dick players with the great Buck Flogging, and we've been having a lot of fun together, and we've stepped up our game just so much since we started out a couple years ago. So anyway, peace on the streets. I'm out, and I'll catch you guys soon for another episode of the Quitting Six podcast. Once again, if you have questions that you want to ask me, all you have to do is go to quitting6.com/ask-buck and leave a message, and I will play it on the air, so to speak, and answer your question. Please bombard me. Send me thousands. I'll answer as many as I possibly can.
That's all for today's episode, but you can go back and get 4 free books plus an unfathomable shitload of free resources and insider information at quitting6.com. Go register there now at quit, the letter N, and the number 6.com.
we go.